Hello and welcome to Overheard Orlando's 17th episode. I'm going to be talking about a philosophical fable involving a frog and a boiling pot of water and what that has to do with you. Here we go. Basically, as the saying goes, if you place a frog in a pot of boiling water, it will instantaneously jump out, sensing the heat and the danger of the situation. However, if you place the frog in a tepid pot of water and slowly turn up the heat, bringing it to a boil, the frog will comfortably swim around until it burns to death. How does this relate to philosophy and/or psychology? There is a growing body of research that indicates that people are very prone to this boiling frog phenomenon in a lot of different ways. It can really take to abuse that you may be experiencing from another person or abuse at your job, perhaps being overworked. For example, you might be more prone to quit a job that has unfair expectations and perhaps maybe doesn't pay you what your work is worth if it's like that from the very beginning. However, if the job is appreciative and slowly over time starts to become worse and worse, you're far more likely to stay. The same can be said for different relationships. It can be said for sometimes the emotions that we bottle up and we don't communicate right away. Over time, these emotions can turn into resentment, can literally boil us from the inside out. Imagine, if you will, that we are all in our own little separate pots of water, and it all starts out at room temperature. But each time that someone commits a transgression against you that you don't address immediately, every time you bottle up an emotion, every time you don't stand up for yourself or don't speak your mind, that water goes up 1 degree. Now, a 1 degree difference is not going to really change things very much. It's not going to be a dramatic change. It's not going to feel that kind of icky feeling when something's off. It's gonna feel pretty close to normal. But over time, as 1 degree becomes 5 degrees, becomes 10 degrees, becomes 20 degrees, before you know it, you are in a pot of boiling water. And because it has happened so gradually and so slowly, you are now conditioned to take this abuse or conditioned to carry around this kind of emotional or psychological weight. And this is the boiling frog phenomenon. It kind of relates a little bit to another philosophical saying where you have a pile of sand, a mound of sand. Now you can take that mound of sand and divide it or take most of it out, and what's left over is no longer a mound of sand. Now, if you were to remove 1 grain of sand from the mound over and over again, the question then becomes, when does that mound of sand no longer become a mound? Is there a particular number of grains that you take out? And if so, does that mean that 1 grain literally will make the difference between a mound and not a mound of sand? So it kind of speaks a lot to just gradual changes and how it can be easy to brush off or ignore to the point where it's no longer healthy to do so. It might be tolerable because, like I said, that gradual change kind of conditions you to tolerate these things, but it would no longer be healthy nor in your best interest to do so. Little by little, the small stuff becomes big stuff. And before you know it, you're boiling. Well, I just wanted to share this interesting little metaphor that I've been kind of thinking about a lot the last couple of weeks, and also so that you can make sure you're checking your water temperature. That's all for today. Do check out the new website at overheardorlando.com or shoot me an email at overheardorlandopodcast@gmail.com. I'm also on Instagram at overheardorlandopodcast. Thank you so much for listening, and stay true.